Yeah, how you guys doing today? It's Friday. Thank you again for joining me. And let me first apologize for last week. Some technical difficulties, and I was unable to post a new video for you guys. But I did manage to post a morning meditation earlier on this week, and if you haven't checked that out, you should check that out. But I decided to do something a little different for you guys today, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Feel free to let me know in the comment section if you like this better than me sitting in the studio and just talking to you. I decided to do this part as a motovlog. For those of you who know me, you know I'm into motorcycles. It's kind of like a passion. It's like a therapeutic thing that I do. I love motorcycles. I love everything about motorcycles, and at some point I'll introduce you to that part of my life. But I figured that I could give you a small glimpse into my motorcycle lifestyle, and also a little glimpse into Anguilla as well. So I figured, why not do this as a motovlog? You know, so yes, so we're gonna do this as a motovlog today. And like I say, you can always tell me in the comment section if you rather this, if you like this, if you like the setting better than me sitting in the studio talking to you. And yeah, we'll do whatever you like, you know. So you tell me what you like, and I will do that. So feel free. Again, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you for that. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and like this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. So yeah, let's get into part 4. Like I said in part 3, I used to work at Astafans, and at some point I decided, it's time for me to do something different. So I left, and I moved back to the country. Beautiful Castlebrus. We live right next to the ocean, and I felt to myself that at that point in my life I wanted to do something different. And I feel like that's when my life started to get really interesting on the entrepreneurship side. That's where I kind of started dabbling into other small businesses, which I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in this video. But I moved back to the country, and I started to help my dad with farming. My dad was a farmer at the time, like I told you, and so I was always interested in farming. I was always interested in in going back to the soil, and planting with your hands. I'm a big believer of using your hands, and I do a lot of things with my hands, which we'll get to further down in the episodes. But I never liked planting bananas. I watched my dad farm bananas, and it was something I was never interested in. So I always felt like if I ever had to go into farming, it would not be bananas, it would be something else. And I was trying to allow my dad, or at least advise my dad, to diversify. But it seemed like he loved bananas. Bananas is a lot of work. And I'll tell you a little bit about planting bananas so you understand why. It's not that I'm a lazy person, but I just felt like, if you had to plant bananas for a long time, the side effects of it, you would feel it when you're getting older. And my dad is feeling it right now. He's always complaining about his waist, and always complaining about his stomach because of all the chemicals you have to use on the bananas, and just so much work, bending down and all that kind of stuff. So bananas, you plant the banana tree. So let me tell you a little bit about planting bananas, or at least what I know about planting bananas. You have to plant the banana tree, and then you have to constantly be giving it fertilizer. You have to constantly be cleaning it up, and then when it gets to a big tree where it starts to bear, then you have to what they call deflower it, which is to take off the small flowers on the end of the bananas. Then you have to sleeve it. You have to put a blue plastic over it. Well, at least at that time they used to use blue plastics, and then And then when it's time to harvest the bananas, when it's matured, then somebody has to select the bananas. So somebody's a selector. They cut the banana up into, I don't remember the exact formula, 4 or 5 or 6 grains of bananas. They put them down on a fig leaf, let them drain out a little bit, because they would let go this water, this oil, or whatever you want to call it. And then we would have to come in and put some pads on them to stop them from leaking. It's like a cut. It's like when you have a cut. If you cut your leg, then you have to clean it up, then you have to put a plaster on it. So the pads were like a plaster, and then somebody has to come up, box them up in a box in a particular pattern, and then somebody has to carry those boxes to the shed, and that's where the vans or the trucks would take the bananas and take them down to the selection area, which was Foncoli at the time. So sometimes when they get there, some of the boxes would get rejected for some reason or the other. Like I said, a lot of work. And I was like, I ain't gonna do this. Interestingly enough, my dad got the opportunity to vacation in Florida, and he and my mom took the opportunity, because I was in country and I was big enough to fend for myself and my younger brother at the time, Darion. So they're like, you know what? Yeah, this opportunity came up, and we're gonna take that opportunity to go over to Florida and spend some time. So they spent a year in Florida, and so my dad left me in charge of everything. The van at the time, 1540, like I told you, left me in charge of the bananas. Little did he know I had a plan. I had a plan that I didn't tell him about. And I did the most craziest thing ever. We have about 5 acres of land in the stretch area, for those of you who know Castleberth. And I bulldozed probably 2.5, 3 acres of that, and decided I was going to plant corn. And yes, I mean, I planted corn. I farmed corn. At that time, a lot of people were diversifying into corn. Corn was like the new thing, the new kid on the block. And I took the opportunity to plant corn, an easier and a much fruitful harvest, in my opinion. It wasn't really about the work, in my opinion. It was just about, a more fruitful harvest, a smarter way to work. Because I'm always about working smart and not working hard. Nobody needs to be working hard. You have to work smart. And so corn is an easier thing, or I'd say a quicker harvest. You plant the corn, and you have to water the corn. We had an irrigation system in the field already, so all I had to do was run the lines for the irrigation system for the corn. And the corn, I think, would take 2 months to be matured. Within that time, you would spray it, I think, every 2 weeks for worms, because they are sweet corn and they attract worms very, very easily. And then you harvest at the end of 2 months. Out of the 2.5 acres, I probably would get about 4 harvests, 4 van loads, really, from that field. So I would go down to the market area 4 times with literally a van load of corn, and a van load of corn is probably about, I would say, I will make anywhere between $600 to $700. Sometimes when we're lucky, even $1,000. So in 2 months we could make $4,000 in corn, and to me that was more profitable, and that was a smarter way of working. But I didn't just do corn. When I was in country. So like I said to you, corn is a thing that takes 2 months to get to its stage of maturity, and within that 2 months, you have to do something to make money, because like I said to you, it was me and my brother in the country area, so I had to fend for myself. I had to be the breadwinner at that time. So we went ahead and decided, you know what, in the meantime that the corn is not ready, we should sell coconuts, and so that we did. Me and my brother and O'Malley. Most of you guys know him as O'Malley now. Dennis, Jonathan. Darren and O'Malley used to come with me sometimes when they didn't have school, when I went on a Saturday. When I went during the week, Shillingford would come with me. But Dennis and Jonathan will help to carry the coconuts, to prepare the coconuts. So we would get Roach. I don't know if you guys remember Roach. Roach was the original coconut tree climber. I have never seen a guy run up a tree so quick and pick jelly so quick. And I'm sure Darion would be chuckling right now because he remember Roach back in the days. Roach would. I'm gonna tell you a little secret about Roach. So Roach would tell me I have to give him like a fix up. I have to give him like a fix up before he run up the tree. So I give him a little money and he go does his thing, whatever that was at the time. He go does his thing, and then Roach comes back in like 10 minutes and be like, "Yo, you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I ready, man." And before I know it, Roach is like, "Yo, hold the rope. So Roach would climb up the tree with a rope. He would sling it around a couple of branches on the tree, and then he would tie it to a guap of coconut. Guap is Creole, a Creole word for a pile. So a guap of coconut. So Roach would tie the rope on the guap of coconut and cut the guap, and then we would have to sling the guap of coconut down slowly, and then when it gets down, we untie the rope and pull it back up for Roach, and that's how we would pick coconuts. We would pick anywhere from 200 250 coconuts to take to the market, and at that time coconut was $1. So if you have 250 coconuts, then you basically have $250. So I mean, you guys are smart enough, you can do the maths. So yeah, so I did that for a little bit, and then selling the coconuts was a kind of cool, interesting experience. Both selling coconuts and selling corn, you would have to get to the market, and then sometimes I wasn't the only person doing this from the village, and I wasn't the only person doing this from the villages around Dominica. So you have to get to the market to get a good spot to sell either coconuts or corn or anything that you're selling. You have to go down the Friday night before. So we would go down the Friday night. We would leave country like about 1-2 o'clock in the morning, take our time, get to the market like about 3-4 o'clock to get a good spot, park there, sleep in the vehicle, and then wake up like about 4 o'clock. As soon as the sun starts going out, we start selling jelly. Sometimes before the sun could be out, we are done selling jelly because people come to the market early. People are liming all night, COTing all night. They come to the market first thing in the morning to get their jelly, because I mean, jelly coconuts is like the perfect probiotic. So people would come to the market, after COTing all night to get the jellies. So that was my phase of my life for a while, doing all those kind of stuff. But let me give you a little interesting story about picking jelly. Dennis Warrington, my keyboard player, he works with me at the studio now. Very, very talented producer. If you want any kind of a work done, check out my boy Dennis. Dennis does, every genre you can think of, and I think he's very, very, very talented. I tell him that all the time. So that's my boy. That's my number one guy. And we call Dennis Singles. But I'm going to tell you a little story about how Dennis got his name Singles. So Dennis was little at the time. He was way younger than we are. He was way smaller, So when we went to pick coconuts, Dennis didn't want to get left out. He wanted to come no matter what. Although we knew he couldn't really, help us. But he was like, I want to come. So we're like, okay, cool. Let's go, bro. So Dennis couldn't carry nothing more than a single coconut, because like I said, he was small. So we would leave all the single coconuts for him to carry, and we would take the guap. And that's how Dennis got his name Singles. So I mean, a lot of people don't know, we still call him Singles. Darian still call him Singles. I don't know if O'Malley still call him Singles, because now we more call him like Lopez. So and I don't even know how he got that. I don't even know how he got that Lopez name. He's gonna have to tell me. Maybe Dennis can tell me in the comment section how did he come from Singles to Lopez. But that's just a cool little story about picking jellies in the country. And like I said, I also opened up a barbershop at one point. Another interesting story about the barbershop. My grandfather, most people know him as Halo. Rest in peace, Pa. He died a few years back. And he had a spot. I don't know how many of you all remember. Right where Club 360 was. Big up to Don. Big up to Glenn Bannis. Right where Club 360 was, by Rome. Right by the Bottle Bridge. this little hut right there. My grandfather had this on the control, and he gave it to me for free. I told him I wanted to do a barber shop, and he gave it to me for free. And interesting, cool, funny story. Darion wanted to cut hair, man. No matter what, he wanted to cut hair. He wasn't that good, at the time. So I was like, okay. I gave him just the kids he had to cut and flat cut, so that his cut was flat cut. Any other thing, I would do it. But if somebody comes for a flat cut, Darion would do it. I'm sure he's gonna be chuckling about that. I think he reminded me about that the other day. He thought I forgot, but I didn't. And he reminded me about it the other day. But that's some really, really cool days. Again, another small business that I dabble into. And then after that, I think I did with a friend of mine at the time, an internet cafe slash video rentals. VCR cassette was the thing at those time. Every home had a VCR player, and we found out that there was a video rental place in the town that was going out of business. We contacted them, and they gave us a good deal on the cassettes that they had, and we used that to open up a little video rental. And on the weekends we played movies. I left that business shortly after to the guy because it wasn't working out for me. But again, like I said, this is where my entrepreneurship skills start to really come into play. At that time, country life was nice, man. Imagine your mom and dad is not around, and you have a vehicle. At about 22, 23, I think I was at that time. Man, it was me and Ali and Darion, boy, we used to cook some serious jot. Food was cooking every day. Alika and Denise and Schumacher and Estelle, and Sammy used to come around sometimes, but I telling you, food used to be cooking 24/7 in that place. And I remember once, man, we decided, breadfruit and codfish and breadfruit and hawanson used to be like, that would be like our meal at least 3 times a week, because we had breadfruit trees in the garden. So breadfruit was our thing. That was my jam. I love breadfruit. A scraped breadfruit with just some codfish over it, like raw in your hands, is the thing. That's the jam. I mean, I introduced my wife to breadfruit and codfish, when I moved to Anguilla, and I think to her that was the best thing since sliced bread. At least that's the reaction I got on her face. And I remember one time we decided we was going to go to the river and roast some breadfruit and some codfish, and we told the girls about it. But for some reason, the girls thought we had some ulterior motives. I don't know if it's because of past experiences. I'm not gonna say anything. It's not carnival, so I'm gonna hold my peace. But for some reason, they decided they weren't gonna come. So we were like, all right, cool. Watch nothing. We're gonna go to the river anyway, with you guys or without you guys. So I went up to the garden. I picked like about 10 breadfruit, and I picked the breadfruit a couple of days before we decided to go to the river, because if you pick the breadfruit when it's well matured and you leave it there for a couple of days, it gets ripe. And let me tell you something about alright breadfruit. Whew, my dude, this is like the best thing. So I picked the breadfruit a couple of days in advance so it could ripe. And we decided we were going to go to the river. Bought some codfish. We went to the river. Man, we stayed in the river all day. Kieran, Kearney, Ali, Jonathan, Dennis, Darion, myself, and I'm sure there was like tons of other boys in the inner city. Brian, all them guys. We went to the river, and let me tell you, we eat so much breadfruit and codfish. Like, nobody wanted to go into the water after, because everybody felt like they were just going to sink. We stayed in the river all day, man, all day. And then there was a concert. There was a gospel concert that same night. We had so much breadfruit and codfish that we decided we was going to bring the rest of the breadfruit and codfish to the concert. We brought the codfish and the breadfruit to the concert. Those girls were like, yo, give us some codfish. We're like, nah, no way. We ain't going to give you all nothing. So we didn't give them. I'm sure they kind of regretted that. I'm sure Denny's and Sammy can remember that right now, and they're probably giggling about that. But yeah, that was some really fun days, really fun days in country. And then after that, oh, I don't know if it's right after that because I mean, come on, it's a long time ago. My dad and mom they returned back from Florida, and I don't think my dad was really disappointed, because he started growing corn too. So I don't think, at least he didn't show me that he was disappointed. I really think like I saved his life, and I'm sticking to that, unless he tells me something differently. But at least I kind of moved him away from growing bananas, and then he started, growing all kind of other stuff. He did grow corn for a long time. I think he's probably still growing corn right now a little bit. So I feel like I introduced him to that whole corn thing, And again, like I say, I'm sticking to that, unless he can tell me something differently right now. And if he does, I'll put it in the comment section for you guys. But another interesting event happened. And that was my brother Kent. He had a bus. I don't know if you guys remember the blue bus. I actually changed it up after a while. As a matter of fact, it was white. It was a white bus. When I bought it, I changed the color of it. It was a white bus. And so I started driving the bus for him while he was there. Because remember, I told him my dad was back now, so I had to find something else to do. And being the guy that I am, I'm not gonna sit there. I'm gonna figure it out. That's me. I'm gonna figure it out. So I started driving the bus for him, and then he was like, "Man, I'm gonna go to Bible school, so I'm gonna be out for about 2 years." Oh, I don't remember exactly how long he was gonna be out for, but he said he was gonna be out for a while. So he's like, "We'll figure something out, and I guess you can just drive the bus while I'm gone, and then when I come back, we'll figure it out." And I'm in my mind, I'm like, this guy's gonna go away for 2 years or whatever. He's gonna come back, and then what am I gonna do? So I said to him, why don't I just buy the bus? Why don't I figure something out and tell me how much you want for the bus? Let's figure it out and let's just get that done with. When you come back, if you need another bus, then you buy another bus. And he was like, well, that makes sense. So we kind of figured it out. We chopped it out. I got a loan at the time at the credit union. My sister Josette helped me out, and I got a loan. And then I bought the bus and I started running the country line. So I would do the country from Castlebrus to Roseau every morning. And then when I go down to Roseau, instead of just sticking around until the people that either came to the town for work or the school kids are ready to go back up, I would run the college. Because you know me, I'm in like hustle mode. You know what I'm saying? And I'm young, so I'm full of energy, and I'm in hustle mode. So I'd run the college during the day, and then I would come back to the bus stop around 1 o'clock. If there's not enough folks to go up, then I would go back to the college, run for another 2 hours, and come back at the bus stop like around 3:30, and then get my people to go up in the country at 4 o'clock. So about a year and a half, I think, into driving bus, into having that bus, my first son, Rakim, was born. His mom was from the town area. We were together for a while, and we broke up for a while, and then we got back together. And when we got back together, Rakim was the product of the rekindling of that relationship. About a year and a half into me having the bus, and like I said, I changed that bus from white to blue, and I call it Greyhound. Greyhound. I was just trying to do a spin-off, because at that time I was carrying Taurus, and I knew the Americans would recognize the name Greyhound. So I had a big Greyhound dog on the back windscreen, and I had it on at the bottom of it, "Leave the driving to us." So I was doing some real copyright infringement there, but I didn't get into trouble because small island, nobody's gonna worry about me for that. So that helped me get some Taurus. So at some point it was coming from the country, going down, carrying tourists, and then when there's no tourists, then I go to the college, because tourists is more money. Talking about US, you could go make a trip and come back with 200-300 US. If you do in the shuttle, you could make like 500 US in the day. So that was my real hustle. And again, like I said, my son was born, so sometimes I used to go up in the country in the night and then come back down. Depends on what's going on. I'd come back down in the night, and then at some point early in the morning, I would go up to country to get my people from the country, then come back down. And so it was, like I say, real hustle. I remember some days I used to do the last trip from 4 o'clock. When I reach up in country, I would be like about 5, 6 o'clock. I would go straight back down to town, sleep in town, and then get up in the morning early to go up to the country again. So it's a real hustle. And then the whole bus thing was a really cool experience. That's how I got to know, so much about Dominica and so much about, the culture of different villages, because I used to take people all around. I used to take tourists to the Trafalgar Falls, the Boiling Lake, and I mean Dominica is just so lush and so beautiful and full of natural resources and rainforests and all that kind of stuff. That's why they call it the nature island of the Caribbean. So if you're out there and you haven't been to Dominica, and you want to experience the nature at its best. I think they call it the most untouched island in the Caribbean in terms of just the beauty and the raw waterfalls and again, if you're out there and you're going to Dominica, check out my brother, Shy Guy from Shy Guy Dominica. Does
My people! It's your boy Shy Guy from Shy Guy Dominica. Does
you go check out my boy? I mean, like my real brother, Shy Guy from Shy Guy Dominica. Does. So, again, like I say, my son was born, and then 9 months after my son was born, again, I made another crazy decision. I sold the bus, I sold the taxi, and I got an opportunity to go on cruise ship and work on a cruise ship. And so I made this sacrifice because, again, music was always, my real passion. All the other stuff that I did, was something I did in the meantime, but music was always my real passion. And I felt like at that point in my life, I felt like that was what I had to do. It was a very hard decision. Like, again, my son was 9 months old, and I decided to myself, you know what, I'm gonna have to make that sacrifice. And I left and went to cruise ships to work on a cruise ship, and that will come in part 5. But again, what I want you to take away from this part is, sometimes in life you have to make sacrifices, and sometimes you have to jump, and you may not know what is out there for you, but if you don't jump, how are you ever going to know? When I was working at Astafans, I felt something in me telling me that this is not what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and I had to jump and decide, you know what, I didn't know what country was going to bring, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to the country. And I made that jump. And again, when my brother decided to go to Bible school, I decided I was going to make that jump again and buy and get the bus from him. And then when I sold the bus, I felt like it was a godsend opportunity for me, because right when I sold the bus, I think it was the same week when I sold the bus, the guys called me from the cruise ship. Big up to Richie, Ravalier, Joel, and Elijah. You'll hear more about those guys in part 5. Those guys gave me the call and be like, yo, bro, you still drumming? I was like, yeah, man. And they're like, we have this opportunity. Do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, let's figure it out. And so I did that. So, again, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this part. This was part 4 of Story of My Life. I thank you so much for sticking around. If you stick around till the end, then, like, again, I say you are true subscriber, and I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed us yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's free. You don't have to, it's not going to cost you anything. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you like that video, please give me a thumbs up. And again, this was motovlog style. If you like this style of the video, if you like me doing more videos in that way, please let me know. At some point we'll talk more about motorcycles, and I'll tell you what motorcycle I'm riding and all that kind of stuff, and what gear I'm using and all that kind of thing. But for now, it's what it's been part 4, and I really enjoyed telling you that stories. Even telling you that story bring back some really cool memories. So again, thank you so much, And please let me know in the comment section if you like this episode and you like the style, this motovlogging style. And yeah, I could do some more of that. All right, cool. Have a good one. And again, God bless you, and I love you.